What up, YouTube? We back with another video here, and I'm gonna take you through one of my workouts. Today I did chest and biceps today with some Stairmasters at the end. As you can see here, this is me at the end of the workout, but this kind of shows you, my body type right here. Yeah, man, we're gonna dive in deep on this workout. I'm gonna show you guys how to get it. Me over here flexing a little bit. Hopefully one day I could get into a bodybuilding show. Okay, so after I usually I'll warm up on the treadmill, I'll stretch, and then I'll get into the workout. And I usually warm up on the treadmill for usually about 5 minutes. Then I go stretch, and then I go start my workout. So as you can see here, today is chest and biceps day. And I usually like to start off on incline chest workouts, whether that be dumbbells, whether that be the barbell bench. Today I started off with the dumbbells here. And when you work out your chest, you want to make sure that one, you're controlling the weight and you're getting a nice deep stretch. Working out, you're not really getting big in the gym, you're just tearing down the muscle. So that's what I usually like to focus on. I like to focus on, controlling the weight, pushing, not too light of weight, but, pushing enough to where, it's a good pump. And, as you're getting, that pump or whatever, I like to take about a good, not too long of a break between, but usually a minute or two. Then I'll get the next set going. I believe for my incline workout, I did 4 sets of 8 to 10 reps. Today was kind of more of a hypertrophy workout today. I felt like the music was going, and I felt like I'm going to kind of do higher reps today. Kind of controlled, but I'm going to do higher reps. You just can't go wrong when you start off with incline bench. And usually that's when your chest grows the best, is when you're hitting the top of your chest, any incline movement. I just always like to start that first with my workouts. As you can see here, an epic fail of me getting it up. Embarrass myself. You see me look in the mirror, but that's okay. I get it right here. I believe this was my last set, but I did do a total of 4 sets. I don't think I got all 4 sets, but I did do 4 sets. You guys just got to understand that when you're in the gym, you need to stay locked in and stay focused. That's the main thing. So after I did incline today, I went over to the barbell bench. I usually will mix it up. Like I said, sometimes I'll do dumbbell bench press. Today, I feel like doing the barbell bench. I haven't hit bench in about a week, the actual barbell bench, but you see here, I'm kind of playing around with 225, which I usually like to burn out with. I believe I did this here for my first set. Chest felt warmed up, so I did a little burnout right there with 225. And yeah, guys, you guys gotta actually have like a good workout program you follow. I usually follow a lot of bodybuilding workouts. As you can see here, I upped the weight a little bit. I went to 275. I believe I try to do as much as I can here. I know one of my issues is I'm always moving my feet, but at the end of the day, you got to do what works for you. As you can see here, you see how my legs always keep moving. You want to make sure your legs are planted, but my form looks pretty good. And mind you, I'm doing this with no spot either. which if you can do it. If not, don't do it type of thing. But I believe I hit this. I did bench for 3 sets. This is just a repeat of the 225, but I did do 3 sets of burnouts with my bench. And that's the bodybuilding program that I follow. Sometimes I might tweak it up a little bit, but as you can see here, the second workout was barbell bench. And I feel like if you are going to be in the gym, I highly recommend to try to master both dumbbells and barbell. To me, it just kind of helps tear down the muscle more. So far I started off with incline dumbbell bench press. And then my second movement was barbell bench press. And now my third movement is this decline loaded plate machine here. Usually this machine, like I said, today was more of a hypertrophy type of push. So everything I did was either burnouts or high reps. Mostly burnouts today. And as you can see, that's 275 that I was pushing right there. And guys, I always try to recommend that when you do any type of movement, like for chest, for example, I start off from the top of the chest, the middle of the chest, and then the bottom of the chest. Incline, barbell bench, and then decline bench, or some type of decline movement. You just can't go wrong when you hit all three. So then after I kind of hit my heavy duty compound movements of the chest, now I like to get into cable flies. And again, I start from high, mid, and low. I feel like with the cables, you can really get a deep stretch and really tear down that muscle. And once again, I was doing burnouts. So I kept going till I really couldn't go no more, without getting crazy with it. But today was definitely a burnout day. And that was from the high position. So next, I believe this one is at the mid position, targeting the middle of the chest. And once again, I did burnouts. And all these movements, if you watch them with the cables, today was more of a hugging movement. As you can see, I'm kind of like hugging as I'm, hitting the workout, whether it's from the top, when I had it up high, or whether it's from the mid. It's kind of more of a hugging movement today. So here I'm hitting the bottom, I believe. And, when I do cables, like I said, I like to start from high, mid, low. And, just really try to have that mind and muscle connection. After doing these, my chest was on fire after hitting all those chest movements. But this is what makes the difference, between me and most men is, I really be tearing down the muscle as much as I can. And that's why I look the way I look. So now I was pretty much done with my chest workout. So now I'm adding in the bicep movements. Right here is just I don't know what you call that bar. It kind of has a little bend at the end, but, I'm just really targeting my biceps here. I have a decent, amount of weight, but I'm doing as many reps as I can possible. Once again, burnouts. And I will say with bicep movements, this is the same video again, but with bicep movements, you can really do some high reps and really burn out your arms. I feel like biceps and triceps, they respond better when, at least in my opinion, when you burn them out real good, especially when you got some decent weight that you're hitting, you're going to see the results. And mind you guys, you probably wonder why the gym is so empty, because I go at 3 a.m. before I go to work. But my second workout with the biceps is right here with the rope. I'm kind of leaning back so I get a good angle going. And, once again, I'm doing burnouts. If you look, you can see how my chest is poking out good. My arms are feeling good. That's what you want right there. So we're going to, slow it down just a little bit just so you guys can, peak game real quick. But, with these ropes right here, it kind of mimics hammer curls. And as you can see, I'm trying to keep my elbows tucked in as possible. I'm leaning back to get even, a deeper stretch. You can see my forearms working. You can see, I have a good form going. And I think I have the weight at like 90 or 100, those cables. And I'm just burning out with it. And this is what you guys need to try to master is your form. Your form is everything. My arms were so on fire right there. Even my chest was still hurting. But that's what you guys want to kind of look for is staying on top of your form. So next, what I did after that, this is the third movement. I did some preacher curls. The preacher curl machine. And you can see here, I like to kind of sit my butt back, if that makes sense, and kind of lean forward. There's some girl in the gym that likes me. She's always interrupting my content. Another topic for another day, but the preacher curl machine. You cannot go wrong with the preacher curl machine. This machine is really going to target, the long head of your bicep. And, obviously on some of the preacher curl machines, they'll usually have like a picture of the muscle it's targeting. But, as you can see, I'm like lean back in a way. I'm like leaning forward on the pad. So I get more of a good angle on it. And once again, I'm just doing burnouts. I got a nice, decent weight. I think I got a plate in 25. I'm focused on my form. This was a killer workout today, guys. And, you guys definitely have to understand that when you're working out, guys, I'm telling you, form is everything. It is everything. And of course, at the end of all my workouts, you have to get some type of cardio in, guys. That's what's going to keep your core nice and tight. Obviously don't be stuffing your food with junk food all day and, eating sugar all day. But you have to do some type of cardio. So at the end of all my workouts, I'm either jump roping or I'm on the Stairmasters for 10 minutes. Stairmasters, 10 minutes, jump rope. I usually will do 10 minutes, but I'm jumping in increments. So this is crucial right here, guys. Crucial. If you guys want that six pack, which I'm still working on because it's so freaking hard, but you guys got to realize that the Stairmasters, any type of cardio is so important. All right, guys. And this is, at the end of the workout, I'm over here kind of, playing around with the camera and stuff. But, you guys can see that, when you work out, you got to take this like another job, right? You got to take this like it's part of life now. You guys are walking around here out of shape or don't really know what you're doing. That's what I'm here for. That's what, other fitness influencers are here for, is to show you the way. I wasn't always in, this type of shape, but, I just took this day by day and I trusted the process. I for sure knew what I wanted to look like. I wanted to kind of look not like big as a bodybuilder, but just, I want to put some muscle on, hit my compound movements and kind of put some size on. Right here, I weigh about 203. My goal is to get back up to 215, but solid, along with doing my cardio, along with, still eating right. This is my first year actually, eating right, mainly eating whole foods, mainly cooking all my food, and it's showing. if you can see down below, this is what I used to look like. So you guys can see, hopefully you guys can see it pretty good, but you guys can see in those photos, that's what I used to look like. I've always played sports all my life, but this was the first time I actually put on some size and, got serious with the gym. But yeah, guys, that's pretty much it for today. That was the workout, chest and buys. Like, comment, subscribe. Catch you on the next one.